Welcome back to Studio G, news made for the Rebel in You. I'm Triana Gondo.
And I'm Dejan Sullivan, and thank you guys for joining us today.
Ken Taylor, founder and CEO of Texas Roadhouse restaurant chain, died this past Thursday. He was 65. His family and the company say he took his own life after suffering from symptoms related to COVID-19, including severe tendinitis. Politicians, family, friends, and the public went onto social media to mourn his loss and share all the kind things he has done, especially this past year during the pandemic when he gave up his salary to support his employers.
Ursus has a close encounter with the asteroid on Sunday. The asteroid measured 1,300 feet wide and passed within the 1.25 million miles of our planet. The measurements were considered close and potentially hazardous by NASA's standards. UNLV had scientists closely monitoring the asteroid's projection. Jason Steffen at UNLV, astrophysicist and member of NASA's Kepler mission, studied the asteroid. Steffen commented to Fox 5, quote, "If this were one to hit the Earth, most likely it will hit the oceans, causing a huge tidal wave," unquote. According to NASA, it won't come to this close Earth again until 2052.
Yesterday, a mass shooting took place in Colorado. Yavni Gully gives us a few updates.
Around 2:30 p.m. yesterday, a man opened fire at a King Soopers grocery store in Boulder, Colorado. The incident lasted 6 hours before officers were able to put the suspect in custody.
It's going to be difficult for people to process. Flags had barely been raised back to full mast after the tragic shooting in Atlanta that claimed 8 lives, and now a tragedy here, close to home, at a grocery store that could be any of our neighborhood grocery stores.
This suspect has been identified as Ahmad Alyssa, 21 of Arvada.
Alyssa killed 10 people, including Officer Eric Talley of Boulder Police Department.
Our hearts go out to all the victims killed during this senseless act of violence. We are committed with state, local, and federal authorities for a thorough investigation and will bring justice to each of these families.
Reporting for Studio G, I'm Yavni Gully.
President Biden held a press conference earlier this morning to speak on the incident. Senate officials began discussion on gun control.
Students want to know what study abroad will look like in the future. Our reporter, Maria DeButte, gives us a look at it.
Before COVID, studying abroad in another country for a semester or a whole year was a way of college students to get out of their comfort zone and experience life from a different perspective. Now, studying abroad is an unknown territory for students. The Study Abroad office at UNLV is currently closed. Students can only speak with advisors through the phone or Zoom calls. I talked to Lisbeth Arias, Study Abroad advisor at the International Programs Department at UNLV, about what studying abroad will look like for students now. She said student travel depends on many factors, including international travel policies and restrictions as well as UNLV policies. She is advising students to be proactive and come up with a backup plan at UNLV just in case travels must be postponed. USAC has its summer and fall 2021 applications open. If students have any questions or concerns, they can always visit the USAC website, UNLV International Programs website, or their social media. Reporting for Studio G, this is Maria DeButte.
And we hope students have a chance to start studying abroad once again. Triana, if you can study abroad anywhere, where would you like to go?
Maybe Japan. I feel like the culture there is really rich and it would just be a fun time. How about you?
I was thinking maybe even like Jamaica, some of the Caribbean islands, just to see kind of how their culture has, come together and is still going as, in 2021.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, don't go anywhere. Studio G will be right back after the break.
You're pregnant, and no matter what you do, no matter what you try, you can't stop using. But it's not too late. There are safe places across Nevada to help pregnant women stop using. No matter how lost you are, how far along you are, there's always hope. If you or someone you love is pregnant or thinking about getting pregnant and using alcohol, drugs, or tobacco, visit SoberMomsHealthyBabies.org or call 211 to find help today.
There is no known safe amount of marijuana used during pregnancy. Everything a mother eats, drinks, or smokes affects her developing baby or enters her breast milk. Just like alcohol and tobacco, using marijuana can have negative effects on your baby. Using any form of marijuana may be harmful to your baby during pregnancy and while breastfeeding. Marijuana can affect your ability to care for your baby or someone else's baby. If you're pregnant or a new mother and using marijuana, you are urged to quit. Visit SoberMomsHealthyBabies.org or call 211.
During our last show, we mentioned students going back to school in a new hybrid system, and today, reporter Lewis Anderson has an update on how students are readjusting.
Brianna, would you please introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, I'm Brianna Pacheco. I am an elementary education major at UNLV. Right now I'm in my practicum too, so I am teaching at Edwards Elementary.
Thank you, Brianna. And how long have you been teaching in person for?
So we recently went back about 2 weeks ago. I think that students are incredibly excited to be back in the classroom. I think it's nice for them to actually have a place to go to learn, to even see their classmates, even though it's socially distanced. I think it's definitely not the same. I think students are still having some challenges with knowing that they have to be in the classroom, adjusting to the desk, the different procedures.
And what type of precautions are you guys taking in terms of safety measures against COVID?
So for COVID, being back in school has been interesting. It's been really nice to see the students again, but we do have specific drop-off places. We have lots of labels on the grounds in the school to keep students at least 6 feet apart when they are lined up. Students do have to wear masks all day, including teachers, staff, anyone in the school. We have socially distanced recess. It's a little different. Lunch is also distanced, so is breakfast. And as far as classrooms, we actually only have a few students back because of the hybrid model. So we have their desks are also spaced at least 6 feet apart, as well as any carpet area, and students have their own bins on their desk to reduce the amount of movement and touching and sharing things in the classroom.
We will keep you updated as we see students across different grade levels return throughout the year.
Yesterday marked the first day of Stage 2 of CCSD's hybrid learning rollout. This means that students in grades 6, 9th, and 12th were offered the chance to return back in-person classes for part of the week. Over 25,000 students across the district have opted into this offer. When they're asked how the second wave opening was coming along, CCSD Superintendent Jesus Jara says so far so good. This reopening is the second part of a multi-step reopening plan, with April 6 giving the secondary grades a chance to return under a hybrid learning option. And we'll see elementary students returning this time.
Nevada has recently settled a lawsuit against a large management company who were working hand in hand with a farmer playing a significant role in Nevada. Opiate epidemic Studio G reporter Jonathan Carell brings us a quick submission of this event.
Yesterday, Nevada Attorney General Aaron Ford announced a $45 million settlement with McKinsey & Company, a worldwide management consulting firm responsible for advising pharmaceutical businesses to aggressively push the use of opioids. The settlement is in response to a lawsuit filed back in June of 2019, where Clark County District Courts were prosecuting several drug manufacturers and distributors for pushing the use of opioids and their justification through the use of false science and predatory marketing strategies. According to General Ford, McKinsey & Company are responsible for promoting marketing tactics and strategies that prioritize profits over people, going so far as to dupe doctors into overprescribing certain opioid pills. General Ford claims this as a victory for Nevada, considering we are one of the top states hit hardest by the opioid epidemic.
The opioid epidemic has crippled many families across Nevada and their entire country. Let's hope now that the $45 million acquired from this settlement go to the communities affected by it here in Nevada.
And for today, I have your weather. So to start off the morning, we are at a 57. It's partly cloudy. We're going to see a little bit of rain showers throughout the valley. Today we will be having a low of 51 degrees. Going to look at the entire valley. As you can see, most of us are going to be in the mid 60s. Henderson hitting the low with a 59 degrees, and then Nellis hitting a high of 65 degrees. Moving on to later tonight, it's still going to be that cloudy weather with a 51 degrees, low winds with a 20 miles per hour, and then a low of 41, so make sure you bring that jacket. Looking at your 5-day weather forecast, rest of the week, it looks like it's going to clear up, so partly cloudy on Wednesday, and then sunshines all throughout the weekend with highs of 75 and a low of 50 on Thursday. That's it for your weather. We'll be right back after the break.
NDOT's top priority is keeping you safe and connected. One of the many ways we strive to keep you safe is by taking an active role with improving the quality of stormwater runoff entering our waterways from our roads and highways. From constructing and maintaining roads to monitoring our waterways, NDOT's dedicated environmental professionals are focused on reducing the impact of our projects on our environment. We do our very best to preserve Nevada's waters for future generations.
This is a storm drain. It collects stormwater. Grass clippings, fertilizer, yard waste, they all contaminate our stormwater. Litter, pet waste, they also contaminate it. Fluids from leaking vehicles run right in there. All stormwater goes untreated directly to our local waterways. Keep contaminants out of our storm drains and out of our waters. Join us in preserving Nevada's waters for future generations. Visit loveandbewaters.com.
Welcome, Rebels. I'm Jerron Turner. I'm here with Joe Rigo, owner, CEO, and founder of Franchise Sports Media. Joe, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, Joe, what is Franchise Sports Media? Let's start there.
Company that myself and recording artist TQ started a few years ago to give back to the community, give a different perspective on how to cover sports in Las Vegas, a fresh attitude. We shoot things different, we cover things different, and we just kind of want to find a way to give back to the community in a way that it hasn't been done before here in Las Vegas.
So what is the vision with Franchise Sports in the Valley?
You know, just to be the #1 sports content provider for Las Vegas. At the end of the day, we shoot things a little bit differently. All of our videos look like music videos with music and sound behind it. The way we shoot in different colors. The way we cover it, the way we cover sports and people, and we want to know their perspective about what's going on in their life. We don't necessarily, the games are great. You get the game, but there's always a story underneath the game. We want to get to that story.
Getting the human element.
Exactly.
That's great. So have you guys done anything so far as the company's been? How long have you guys been in business?
About 2 years.
So have you done anything within the Valley that's reached out to the public?
100%. We cover high school sports. I cover UNLV football. I think I'm the person that most people go to when it comes to that. We just put on a high school combine for the class of 21 and 22. It was with the Institute of Human Performance up on 215 in Buffalo, where we took 75 to 100 kids, put them in a combine environment, and recorded it and made it about them, giving back to them, because obviously not playing football or football just now getting back into the community. It was important that we get those seniors and those juniors a little time to get prepared and kind of give them their flowers for all the things that they've worked hard on throughout their career in high school.
So what all do you cover? All sports, everything?
Every sports, from NYS all the way through every professional sports team in the Valley.
So you definitely cover the Rebels as well.
100%.
Oh, yes. I like to hear that. So as far as franchise, it has been moving. Have you guys gained positive feedback from the community?
100%. I mean, we at our highest point, we're having 99,000 people visit the site per week. We're it's pre-pandemic, and with COVID happening, we were allowed to really get creative and find other stories and other avenues to really put out content. So the community's been very receptive to it. Everyone's enjoyed it. There's been no negative feedback. So, I mean, we're very happy with the growth of the company.
That's excellent. That's good to hear. It's nice to see somebody caring about the local sports and everything that's going on here. So, Joe, is going out before, how would anybody be able to, you have a social media?
Absolutely. We're involved in all social media. Everything is the same at the franchise LV across all social media platforms, franchisesportsmedia.com, fsmlv.com. You can follow me directly, follow TQ directly. Mine's at Joe Arrigo. TQ is at TQ the Trojan, and everybody that's affiliated with it. We also, for everybody at UNLV, we're a part of the internship program. So if you want to be a sports writer, if you want to be on camera, behind the scenes, you want to do production, whatever, if you have an internship and you want to intern, come to Franchise Sports Media. We got you covered.
That's great. Thank you, Joan. Thank you for coming in. Guys, we're going to come right back. Don't go anywhere. Studio G will be back after the commercial break.
It's okay to wonder about safety. I'm here to tell you, and we're all here to tell you, that it is safe. We will not be taking it if we did not think it was safe. We would not be advocating for our own family members to get a vaccine if we didn't think it was safe. These vaccines have demonstrated that they can prevent severe illness and death, which means we finally have a chance of beating this thing and getting the life that we knew pre-pandemic.
I think the vaccine's important. I absolutely am going to take advantage of it. It's an opportunity we have to try and prevent the spread and contain this. Look, we know the devastation that Nevada's economy has seen from the COVID-related illnesses and the shutdowns at businesses across the board, from gaming all the way down to small business. And we need to make sure that we do everything we can to protect our loved ones, to protect our neighbors and friends. Anything we can do to get back to work is extremely important.
Last Sunday, the 63rd Grammys lived up to its highly anticipated 4-hour-long program where almost 9 million people tuned in. The night was filled with stellar performances, including Silk Sonic making their television debut, performing their single Leave the Door Open, which ranked second on Billboard's Hot 100 for this week. Dua Lipa took the night to another level with her performance of Levitating, joined by the Baby. Following Grammys weekend, Justin Bieber released his new album titled Justice. This album is feature-filled with artists like Khalid, Chance the Rapper, and Benny Blanco. Off the album, single Peaches with Daniel Caesar and Giveon is climbing the charts, debuting at #1 on Spotify's top 50 pop songs. That's all we have for your entertainment recap. Back to Triana at the desk.
Have you gotten your COVID vaccine yet? If so, you're in for a delicious surprise. Let's check it out. Krispy Kreme is showing their sweet support for those who choose to be vaccinated. They recently announced that anyone who got the COVID-19 shot can receive a free original glazed donut by simply showing their vaccine card. Qualified individuals include anyone who has received at least one of the 2 shots of Pfizer or Moderna, or the 1 shot of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. This offer can be redeemed in-shop or drive-thru and is valid at various participating U.S. locations. If you haven't received your vaccine yet, it was recently announced that all NCHI faculty, staff, students, and families can sign up for an appointment right here on campus at the Student Union. Reporting for Studio G, I'm Triana Gondo. Make sure you celebrate getting your COVID-19 vaccine with a sweet treat.
The volleyball team remains undefeated after spring break with 2 victories of the Spartan of San Diego State. Women's tennis took down Wayne State 7-0 last Sunday before the break to improve to 3-4 overall. And on the men's side, they beat BYU to snap a 6-game losing streak to improve to 4-8 for their season. Men's soccer also beat Utah Valley on Friday, and then Cal State Baptist yesterday with the same 1-0 result to have them over 500 once again. So congrats to them. Finally, the softball team swept 3-game series against Boise State over the weekend to improve to a 14-8 on the season.
Check back with us on Thursday for our Rebel preview of what's to come.
After losing 2 of its red pandas to old age and cancer last year, Zoo Montana, a zoo in Montana, welcomed 2 more. Pabu and his mother, Mimi, arrived from Oregon on March 12th. The zoo plans to promote genetic diversity by breeding Mimi with the zoomatic resident red panda dooley. Their species is engaged in the wild due to poaching and deforestation. Pibu and Dime will make their first public appearance after they undergo a 30-day quarantine. People can support the animals by donating online or visiting the zoo. And that's all we have for you guys today. Be sure to join us tomorrow at noon. I'm Dejan Sullivan.
And I'm Triana Gondo. Thank you for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.